very good evening to you and welcome to Public. This being the last quarter of the year 2020, the year of mask, sanitizer, social distancing and many more. And tonight we do the state of the nation, focusing on what has been happening in the past 3 quarters of the year and what is likely to happen in the last quarter of the year. On the show tonight, we are joined by Mr. Pidgin Odimwengu, who is a party leader of Accountability Party. We are also joined by Mr. Fred Muka, who is a national youth leader, Amani National Congress. Mr. Edgar Kosgei, a political analyst, is also with us on the show to help us to dissect and look into the matters and all that has been happening within Kenya and finding way forward, even as we hope and anticipate to end 2020 in style, with the hope that 2021 will be a better year than ever before. My name is Cornelius Omuse, and remember, this conversation is also live on our Facebook page, CAC TV Kenya. Our YouTube channel is CAC TV Kenya. And with our mask, we will strive to see that you get what we have. I can see Edgar ready, I can see Mr. Muka ready, and Mr. Pidgin ready. Gentlemen, welcome to Public tonight.
Thank you very much.
The two of you are visitors, but Mr. Kosgei on the other end.
I'm home.
He's the first one who appeared on this show, Power Brief, when we didn't have any direction. And even when he comes, I usually call him the guardian of Power Brief. And Mr. Muka, it's your first time, and also Mr. Pidgin. Now, tonight we do the state of the nation, and we are trying to look at what has been happening and even the recent development this week when the president gave new guidelines on how to continue combating or fighting with COVID. But at the end of it all, there are different reactions from citizens. Kila mtu ana maneno yake, anasema kunaenda namna gani. Yesterday night, where I come from, I went to some shop at around 9:35. But I found that the shops were closed, meaning that readjustments is yet to happen. So let's see briefly from where you come from, and also to briefly dissect on the new directives and how are they really coming along with the people. Beginning from the other corner, Mr. Edgar, I know you struggle, but just give it the best.
Yes. Thank you so much for having me around again. And I want to thank CAC TV for having such a program that enlightens the people. And I want to congratulate CAC TV for coming that far. It has grown in leaps and bounds. The new directives and the new notes that the president gave out before going to France to apply for the new, apply for the 180 billion.
Where did you people get that information that he has gone for a lot? Monex of beams, what on kikapu? Anyway, yeah,
it's in the public domain. Yes. So before he went, he gave directives. He said that curfew has been shortened, and it is going to start at 11 p.m. and ends at 4. Now that was a relief for me, because I can be able to do my own things, and I can get out of town at 9 and get home very late. So that's a relief for me. But as you said, it is a new norm that we are trying to adjust. We are used to being clobbered at exactly 9 by the police in the streets. So businesses are adjusting. That is a directive that has been given. Another new norm that we are going to find are people going back to schools, the tertiary universities and the tertiary schools and the universities. The final year students are going back to school. And that is one more directive. But the president said that you people stay with your kids at home until we get it right. Until you will have confidence in our schools that you can protect your children.
Let's hear from Mr. Muka what is happening within his environment and what he thinks, whether the move by the head of state to bring in the new guideline was informed or misinformed, ama uko na mawazo yako pia ambayo pengine haikusikilizwa.
From where I come from and where I sit, any question asked about environment, I respond it holistically, because I was born and raised in the village. When I came to this town, I stayed in the slums. Mkuru for Tanyayo slums in South B From South B, I moved at least in a middle-level ground in Thika Road, around Zimmerman area, Githurai 44. I've stayed in those areas, and I'm privileged by the grace of God now. At least now I stay in a better place as we speak now.
Yeah.
Now, responding on these 4 areas, being born and raised in the village, life in the village ends at 7. At 6:30, we usually eat our dinner. So this curfew thing from my village backward, it has not affected it. That is the norm in the village.
Wonderful.
And if you go to the village, I've been lucky. I traveled the village during this pandemic. In the village, they have a common saying that Corona is not in the village. They have never seen, or heard anybody who has died of Corona.
Which could they be right or?
They could be right. I come from Mumias. So life in the village is normal. It is normal. There are football tournaments going on. People go in churches. People go in drinking sprees. It is normal in the village, in my village. The measures that the government came up with now in an area like in the slums in Nairobi, the measures that the government came up with, like social distancing, for instance, cannot work in the slums in Nairobi. This is an area whereby the place we are sitting in here, this is now a size of a household. This is a household that has a family of 8 or 5 people. Worst case scenario, 4 people. There's a bed here. There's a three-seater seat. One person will sleep in the seat. The wife and the kid will sleep on the bed. The visitor will sleep on the seat. There is no social distancing. It cannot happen in the slums. Neither can it happen in mid-level estates like Umoja, like Kayole, like Zimmerman. It can technically happen where I stay today, or in some upmarket areas. It can technically happen, social distancing. However, if you go to town today, I've been in town the entire day. If you go to town today, people left this government set up regulations. Technically, it's just on paper. Because people have come to realize that there is a way an African by nature is more resilient to such diseases, and it has not killed as many people as it was expected. So people have kept going with it.
Thank you, Mr. Muka. Let's also get from the party leader where he stands. I know the announcements were made by his fellow party leader. I don't know whether you were consulted or you also just had it on media. So let's also see your focus and your opinion regarding the new guidelines and what also affects the environment as we do this State of the Nation, comparing what is happening and what we feel we should put our efforts together towards combating the spread of COVID-19.
Allow me to say thank you for this opportunity, and I'll also thank my fellow panelists for this opportunity also. As I try to talk about our country, allow me to react on that Corona directives that the government gave. He gave it at a capacity of a president, not as a party leader, because it was not a Jubilee directives. So that was a government directives. One thing I'll say is that, of course, to the background where we stay and what he has been explaining, especially, I've also been in slums for a long time. I'm saying that lower level of class. As a young person who's struggling there. And I'll say that the extension of time might only help, especially with the opening of bars to those who drink. Majorly. But the normal shops and kiosk operators, their time is always their time. Because most of the slums or estates within Nairobi, few of them operate past 24 hours. It's only maybe the CBD, which even sometimes you will not find people operating by 11. So it's not going to affect us a lot in terms of normal businesses, but it will affect a lot or help a lot the restaurant people and the bar people, because other people will be going out to drink at around 10 and whatever time. But the ordinary people of the barber shop and everybody else, at around 9 latest, they'll be closing up their businesses, you see? And also in traveling sector still, people get out of job or from their job at around 5 or 6, by around 8 or 9, they're still at their place. So you won't find them out at that time. But I'll say that, of course, it is a good move, but I don't see the difference between that 11 to 4. I don't even see the impact, because like opening up. Because the only thing is now trying to limit is that long distance traveling, especially at night, which I don't find anything interfere to the corona situation and anything to do with that. So pushing curfew to 11 is like you're trying to tell us that you're opening people to move the time they're supposed to sleep, which is ordinarily that they will be sleeping. So it's not that big impact to what I can say, but it's a better move.
But are we in agreement, all of us, from what I'm getting, is that a little bit you can say that the head of state and the government has maybe tried to contain the spread of COVID-19, ama ni Mungu amesaidia? Can we talk of the supreme being's presence, or it's been a human intervention?
I'll say there you see the health officers talk about this. The number is according to the test, not according to the real situation. And you see the test is going down daily. So it's not about either the number of corona going down daily, but it's about the capacity to test more people going down daily. So whether, in fact, even to believe the actual number in this country is an issue. So you can't know whether those are actual numbers going down or whatever they are doing.
Many thanks, guys, for that wonderful insight on the matter of new government guidelines on COVID-19. We now get into something that has been on media all through this week and for the past 2 weeks. That is the Mkokoteni and wheelbarrow wave from Hustlers Camp. And also at the same time, we have the other camp talking of you being ahead of second in command. And then you're coming up with Mkokoteni. Wao wanasema nyinyi mmekuja na kazi kwa vijana, kina graduate work na ufiekeo na kufagia barabara, alafu yamekuja na so there this thing. But at the end of the day, let's now begin by looking at these two different camps, pointing fingers at each other, talking of Mkokoteni, now we are anaongelea the wheelbarrow part. Does it portray failure of policy implementation or even policy formulation, or what could really be happening between the Mkokoteni and the kazi kwa vijana? We begin from the other end again.
Well, Cornelius, I am glad my friend Muka has started telling us that he has lived in such low places as those low places. I don't want to call them low places, but I'll just look for another vocabulary for that. Let us not belittle the lives of people living in such places by saying that someone is playing at 2022 politics, whatever, and someone has given someone a livelihood. Let us not talk about the livelihoods of people in a like manner. If you see the headlines that were given today, that this about someone, if you hear their stories, for me, I am glad someone has decided to have someone in the slum to come up. So let us know.
So who are these someone? Because Mr. Kosgei, have dropped two things here.
Yes.
About these camps. Those ones who are castigating and criticizing them Mkokoteni and wheelbarrow thing, that are graduate, an engineering graduate, anafaa apewe helicopter, afungue, ama maybe atengeneze, ama aendeshe huko juu. Mwingine anasema tena, a graduate should be given something more to do rather than kufagia streets alafu hao wakubwa wanakuja wanapita na V8 na kupuliza vumbi free. So those are the things. Where are you lying? Are you on the side of Mkokoteni or are you on the side of slasher and sweeping? Because the discussion is gaining momentum, and in fact, when you go right now to the internet, you realize when you put something utaona Mkokoteni, wheelbarrow and slasher imejipanga hapo.
You know, Musa, that's why I didn't want to go. I didn't want to stand on anyone's side, because we are belittling people who are trying to provide for their families, trying to provide for their wives and their children. Kazi mtaani, Mkokoteni is none of our business when we talk about 2022 politics. Let us see that people in the mtaani are given livelihoods. If the deputy president has empowered 8,000 people, what is Muka doing? What is that guy doing in empowering more people? If Jubilee failed, what are legislators doing in terms of policy making and policy implementation in the executive? William Ruto has done this for a very long time, but people did not make it an issue when President Kenyatta was still vying, you know. But right now, I don't want people to talk about people's foods on the table just like that. Kenyans are missing the point, and Kenyans are veering off the right track. Let us let us step away from William Ruto and from the politics of food and mkokoteni and whatever. Those people asked for mkokoteni. They were not just given. They were asked, what do you want? Like me, I want my family to eat, my friend. So this mkokoteni things, these one Kenyans are missing it, and it is total other things, which I can't say.
Let's invite now Mr. Muka
Thank you.
to get his part of the wheelbarrow mkokoteni na slasher. Actually, it sounds like a joke, but it's really bringing in emotional attachment and alignments, where you find the people saying, just as he's bringing it on, that someone is despising the little that puts a drop of milk on my table.
Cornelius, allow me to put this here. I've never seen mockery like this. I've never seen a pretender in this country than William Ruto. This is the greatest pretender of our time. The brightest politician of our time with zero wisdom. This is a person that it is said squandered 21 billion in Kimamwer and Aror Dam. 21 billion. What can 21 billion do? 21 billion can repair the old railway line from Uganda, from Mombasa to Uganda. 21 billion. That's what it can do. This is an individual.
The agencies that are concerned with corruption come up to implicate him directly with it, or it's
it is a matter of time. He will be implicated. You can take it to the bank. It's just a matter of time.
Which bank?
Any
Not
bank,
mention
even M-Pesa. You can take it to the bank. He will be implicated. Just a matter of time. This is the second in command. People, we should live from a culture where people are accountable from their actions. Whatever you say, you should be able to stand up tomorrow and be accountable for it. This is a person that stood up in Kasarani. I watched it live. It is still on social media. It's in Google. It's on YouTube. You can Google. And promised the youth of this country, when we get the presidency, when we win, the Jubilee government will award the youth of this country tenders. The Jubilee government will award the youth of this country jobs. Immediately after graduation in the university, you will get a job, you will get an internship. In fact, he quoted 15 to 20,000 shillings. I'm not sure, between 15 and to 20, around there. He quoted, you will get internship. This is the person that promised the youth. This is the person that has been in power or the better part of his life. This is a person that at the age of 25, if I'm not wrong, 27, he got a car, 27 years old. This is a person that the daughter, through his position as a deputy president, he's an ambassador in Poland, the daughter. This is a person that the son has supplied poles of electricity in this country. Now he stands up and tells our sons and daughters, our children, our brothers and sisters, the much I can do to help your living is to buy you mukokoteni, to buy you a pickup, or not a pickup, to buy a mukokoteni, to buy you a wheelbarrow, and sings on the wheelbarrow, mocking them. This is mockery.
Now, two,
Yes.
Mr. Muka, how about those ones also viewing that the Kazi Mtaani and the ones who are being given that responsibility, that it's the same thing that you're trying to mock from this end? Do you agree also that the other part of the Kazi Mtaani is a replica of what the deputy president is doing, or you're just focusing on one?
We should live by the fact that we live in a Jubilee government. Kazi Mtaani, wheelbarrow manenos, it is a Jubilee government initiative. We live in the Jubilee government where the president is Uhuru Kenyatta, the deputy president is William Samoei Ruto. So any pros and
where
cons.
this thing came from,
Yes.
my brother, is the reason as to why those ones who claim to be having the third eye, not really a third eye physical eye, but an eye that can see what maybe every other person is giving a blind eye, or they are not seeing. In that they are saying, both those ones who are claiming that the deputy president is wrong and the president is wrong are right. There's no one who is clean between the two of them. That is what is coming from those ones who are claiming it. Do you take it that way, or you are viewing that the DP is the one who is on the wrong, or the president who is on the wrong, or no one is on the wrong, or both are on the wrong?
If anything is to be blamed on Jubilee government, it should be blamed holistically. The president and the deputy, if anything is to be praised on the Jubilee government, they should take credit, both of them. But William Ruto wants us to take a blame in the Jubilee government, to put it to a person that is not in the Jubilee government, which is Raila Odinga, and any advantage, any positive impact, any positive thing that has come from the Jubilee government, like the road network, it's a positive thing that has happened in the Jubilee government. He wants to take credit.
We are coming back to you shortly because I can see Mr. Edgar preparing his arsenals to deal with you.
Yes.
Mr. President,
Exactly.
not Pibin, our party leader on the show. What is your take on this debate that is really gaining momentum, and most likely it's now creating an alignment, possibly an alignment that will really shape the path of 2022 politics, that sisi ni wa huku wa wheelbarrow na mkokoteni, sisi ni wa huku wa vifyekeo na mapanga. There's something is coming up, and we want also to see your opinion over this as far as job creation, youth affairs, and economic stability is concerned.
Thank you for the opportunity. Allow me to say that our party, Accountability and Transparency Party, is a youth-driven political party. It is for youth and owned by youth, because you're tired of this nonsense. But the only time you think of youth, you think of them in that direction. The only time you think of youth, you think of those other nonsense the government do to us. You can stand there and talk the name of youth and tell them that I'm giving you 1,000 and millions of jobs, and the next day you give them the nonsense you're giving us. Of course, we need money as young people. And even when the government was coming up with the Cousin Tani thing, we needed money. But subjecting all graduates to slash is not even if you have to do cost evaluation, there's no return on investment, totally. There are a lot of things they could have employed young men to do, especially those engineers and whatever people, even to repair and construct those mtaro and everything else, and even build some other new things according to what you've studied. This is a young man who is an artist going with a slasher to slash. This is a young man who is a teacher somewhere, a graduate, going to carry those whatever things you call. So when you look at the whole thing the government is doing from the beginning, whether Ruto is now taking it to a personal initiative and Uhuru is now running it as a government initiative, at the end of the day, these are two people. And there's no way one of them can run out of another person unless he's out of government. So currently, the mistakes done by the government through Uhuru or Ruto is a government mistake. But one thing I'll tell you and I'll tell my fellow young people, and as you can see their reaction, you cannot be telling us to study for 4 years, then give us wheelbarrow and give us lashes. In fact, even if it was help, you wasted my time. If you didn't have job to give us and start telling us we be innovative and whatever stuff, why do you not tell us to be innovative from high school? Then stop going to those whatever things you're telling us. So I'm viewing this as a mockery to young people, both from what DP is doing and what Uhuru is doing. But DP understands very well that them as the government have subjected us to this situation where we are so hopeless that anything that passes a wheelbarrow or a slasher is something that can provide us something else.
We take a quick commercial break. As we come back, we'll be looking into the way forward as far as the cry of the young, many Kenyan graduates who are saying that indeed they're being given a raw deal, that after being in campus for many years, after being in school for very many years, when they come outside, they meet wheelbarrows and slashers. Indeed, they say they're not lazy, but it's only that the surroundings and the environment are subjecting them to that. Few days ago, Cabinet Secretary for Education, C.S. Magoha, talked of the young people, graduates, should start thinking on how to create jobs. But again, the graduates go and sit back and they wonder, how do we create jobs? And the sentiments are coming from leaders who've been employed the whole part of their life. Do we need a debate? Do we need a conversation, a dialogue that will bring together all and sundry towards finding solutions on this? Mr. Edgar Kosgei, Mr. Fred Muka, and Mr. Pibin Odimwengu are with us on the show tonight to do the state of the nation, looking at where the country has been for the past 3 quarters of the year and how we're going to end it, especially now that we're having a pandemic that remains a riddle. How do we get out of it? Do not go far. Keep it on CAT TV.